Yeah, I just think, like I said, like I feel like the coaches and my teammates put me in great positions to be able to score and to be able to get me to my spots. And just doing whatever the team needs to win, whether it's scoring, whether it's defending, whether it's rebounding, whether it's getting the ball to open teammates, just being able to produce and to be able to help in whatever way I need to be able to win. And just, for example, these past 2 games, it's just been we've needed scoring, right? But being able to contribute in any way, it doesn't matter what happens, I'm just trying to get a win.
Bella, I think right here at the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter, they had cut it to 6, and then I noticed you kind of put your head down and drove and got a quick layup, and I think y'all went on an 8-0 run or something right after that. How big was that just to kind of settle yourselves down and say hey, we're still good, you know?
It was huge. I literally just was talking to Talia about that in the hallway. Just whenever you get those chances to take a clean drive in a clean lane and help put us ahead, that gap was too close. It wasn't supposed to get that close. We should have taken care of business and maintained the lead that we had. But no, that was a good play, and I'm glad that it went in.
Yeah, she was the momentum starter. That was the momentum. We needed momentum. They had it, and her layup started our run.
Okay, but first one at Foster this season. How you guys feeling? First official win. How you feeling?
This is your first official win here.
First ever.
Anytime we get a win, it's great. But being able to do it in front of the fans, in front of everybody that came out, all the student section, the band, it was all great. So being home, getting a win, it's better than on the road to me.
Bella?
Absolutely. We didn't really get to enjoy the Wicked theme, but I thought that was cute. I was my nails are kind of wicked for the game. But that's not what's important. What's important is that we won, and we have people who show up. We have people, whether Foster's full or we have half the normal amount of people, they're always loud. We always have great energy, and we appreciate every single person who comes out for us.
Yeah, Bella, senior season. How are you feeling about it?
Really good. I think I really know what my role is on this team, and that's to be whatever they need me to be, whether it's scoring, rebounding, defending. I've been here for 4 years. I know what Nikki wants. I know what Tony wants. Tonight was not what either of them wanted, or today. So we have things to work on, things to adjust, but just very thankful that this is year 4 and that it started off with a win at home. Thank y'all.
Hey, one more.
Oh.
Just sorry about that.
Sorry.
Coming back from Paris, that was an insane win. What was y'all's mindset from coming home, that transition?
Just to carry on what we did there, right, and to start getting better each and every day. I think that win, it showed what we could be, and we're just starting to get better, right, and we can only grow from there. And so just coming and building upon that, not taking steps back, and treating everybody that comes after this like it's a top 10 opponent and going out there and trying to win.
Absolutely no complacency, continuing to grow every day and continuing to do it together at the Baylor standard. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Nikki, what was the defensive struggle, I guess? I mean, they did make a lot of three-point shots, but what did you feel like was the defensive struggle?
I think not wanting to give up threes to begin, and so you start chasing them around, and you get beat on curl cuts to the rim, and then they do a good job of skipping the ball when you're deep in help side, trying to protect the rim on skip and on those curl cuts. We got extended too far, in my opinion, you know. I just thought when you get extended 6, 8, 10 feet behind the arc, it's a long way, and they got a head start, and, you know, we didn't bump cutters, and but I thought they executed at a high level when they got over the first 5 minutes of our size, our athleticism, really bothering them. And, you know, honestly, we went to our bench. They got more comfortable. But, you know, I think we got tired, and we weren't where we were supposed to be, and we weren't reading body language, what's happening. We got back cut. We fouled too much. You know, so I just thought they got us all spread out and did a good job of executing. Layup was open, they took the layup. If we took the layup away, they looked for skip 3. If we got out on the skip 3, they attacked the closeout, and we fouled. So to me, it was they did an elite job of running their stuff. And, you know, when you got a kid, Gracie Kelly, step out and hit 2 threes, and she doesn't take a lot, you know, our kids have to understand we got a lot of new players, But we're going to get everybody's best shot. And Lindenwood is a good team. They were picked to win the OVC for a reason. They were played in the championship game last year, but couldn't qualify for the NCAA tournament. But they're a really good team. And we're always like, what do they have to lose coming here to Baylor? And so they got down big, and they just said, hey, let's just play. And they did an elite job. I thought they made our starters look bad to start the third.
How big was that 8-0 run there early in the fourth quarter when they had cut it to 6? And I think Bella started it by just putting her head down and getting a layup. I think both players talked about how much of a momentum shift that was.
Yeah, I mean, look, in my opinion, we shouldn't have been in that situation. I thought it was a lack of defensive discipline, and then our turnovers, like we couldn't execute a simple high-low pass to Bugs with a 5'6" guard on her. So I was mostly frustrated with our execution level. We threw bounce passes when we should throw lobs. Like, we had the ability to control the tempo of the game with the lead and get simple shots, make or miss, and then set our defense. And I thought our inability to make simple basketball plays created frustration, and that turned into mistakes at the other end. So, I thought Bugs' 3 at the end, the shot clock was big. I thought KJ's 3 was big. Obviously, I thought Bella took really good shots today. I thought she was aggressive. I think she took really good shots. I thought she missed a couple that, I just think she should make. But she got all the way to the rim, got on balance. So I thought her shot selection was really good. I just thought we were too sloppy today to both when we subbed and then as the game went along, we just didn't execute.
Nikki, you mentioned KJ. Is that something she has worked on, or has that always been in her arsenal to shoot the 3?
The 3, I mean, look, KJ coming out of high school, was someone that was perceived, in this world as a big guard, and probably never was, but was a big who could step out and be more athletic and can get in an advantage, and is long enough to guard 5s. And so, yeah, she's always had the ability to make the 3. I certainly think it's something that we hope she does, whether it's 2 for 2. If she can go 1 for 3, that changes against a lot of opponents who don't want their 5s to leave the lane. It's no different than kind of canceled out Kelsey for them making 2 3s. Like, we didn't really, we said she'd take a wide open 3, but you look at her shot chart, and that's not something she's done a lot of. She's an inside the paint, inside 5 feet, right shoulder, left hand kid. KJ has the ability to make that 3.
Yeah, Coach. Scoring droughts, defensive lulls, it's part of the game. But how are y'all adjusting on the court in the huddle? How do y'all as a team do that?
I mean, it's listening. It's discipline. It's listening. It's, when we execute coming out of a timeout, I know that we're paying attention. When we don't, I don't think we're paying attention. And I think that sometimes, you can execute and then you just throw a bad pass, like you get the high-low that you want, and then you throw a bounce pass, and you should never throw a bounce pass when your big kid's being guarded by a 5'6" kid. Like, that's not the time to play low. And so we've got to make better decisions that way. But we can't make mistakes. A lot of our mistakes were effort mistakes. It wasn't lack of effort. It was just lack of discipline. It was getting overextended and then trying to get in and being late to get in, and then your weight is leaning in, and then they throw the skip. I thought Brueggemann did a really, really good job of taking advantage of our mistakes, whether it was bad closeout to attack, whether it was we ball side helped at the end of the second quarter. Like, we don't ball side help. We ball side helped and gave up a 3 and a rip drive to a pull-up. So, but it's the second game of the year. Like, we're not going to be perfect. Like, just because we beat Duke, we weren't perfect against Duke, and I think that I think this team did some things to us. They just aren't on railroad tracks the same way Duke is. Like, Duke, you take away their first option, you kind of get into ISO basketball. This team, you took away their first option, they just kept running and cutting and, and so they do an elite job of getting to second and third actions, like really elite job.
Bella said, I just want to do whatever the team needs, but having a player like that can go out there and get you 26, how big is that?
Bella's worked really hard on her game since the spring. I mean, we've worked really hard on simplifying. She and I have been in the gym a lot together, the two of us, and really focused on slowing down, using her size and physicality, playing on balance, not rushing and scooping shots. So for me, it's not so much about what's the big picture part of that. It's, hey, like we've worked really hard on these things and I'm seeing it translate to the floor. Maybe it didn't look like it a ton against Duke because she missed a couple layups around the rim, but I thought, she held the line and finished against Toby Fournier and, she's obviously bigger, stronger, and more athletic than the Lindenwood kids. And they tried to keep more size, physicality on her and played smaller on Bugs. But I think it's more about seeing her do the things that we've been really focused on to help her grow her game to where it doesn't come down to whether she makes threes or not, that her offensive production isn't determined by is she hot from three. Like, she's capable of offensive rebounding, she's capable of posting and finishing and drawing fouls. And, she shot it really poorly from the free throw line a year ago, and there's just no reason for that. So we've focused a lot on those little things. But I thought she got us off to a really good start. I thought she played really confidently. I thought she was patient. I thought she bullied at mostly the right times. So I thought she made really good decisions today.